The streets of Stockholm were unusually quiet for a late Friday afternoon. The soft hum of traffic mixed with the clinking of plates and glasses behind the windows of Nordköket, a modern Scandinavian restaurant tucked neatly between an art gallery and a florist. Isla stepped out of the tram and pulled her coat tighter around her. The autumn wind nipped at her cheeks. She glanced up at the restaurant's sleek black sign and exhaled slowly. This was it. She entered through the back door, her white apron folded under one arm. The kitchen was already alive with movement. Pans hissing, knives chopping, steam rising from pots like ghosts in a hurry. No one noticed her at first. That was exactly how she wanted it. A tall man with sharp features and a chef's coat slightly too pristine barked at a younger cook across the room. "Don't stir like that. It's not soup for your mother." The younger cook muttered something under his breath and kept stirring. The man turned, his eyes locking on Isla. "You're late. Who are you?" "Isla," she answered softly. "I'm here for the kitchen placement." "Kitchen placement," he scoffed. "Wonderful. Another one they scraped off a cooking show. Grab an apron, Isla. Try not to ruin anything." She didn't respond, only nodded and moved towards the prep station. Her hands were steady as she picked up a knife, but her mind was already calculating. She recognized him from the staff file. Magnus Olsson, interim head chef, known for his impeccable technique and notoriously short temper. Magnus watched her out of the corner of his eye as she sliced carrots into matchsticks. He leaned in. "That's not even." "What is that?" Julienne gone blind. A few of the other cooks chuckled awkwardly. Isla kept slicing. Magnus stepped closer, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Did no one teach you to sharpen your knives? We're not running a soup kitchen here." Still, she said nothing. But her cuts were fast, precise, controlled. Too controlled. That night, as service rolled in, Isla moved efficiently between stations, helping quietly, correcting sauces that were too sharp, adjusting the seasoning with barely a word. Magnus noticed, but he mistook it for luck. "Even broken clocks are right twice a day," he muttered as she passed him a perfectly seared scallop. After the last table had been served, the kitchen began to quiet. Pans soaked in sinks, orders clipped closed. Isla wiped down her station and walked towards the exit. Magnus called after her. "You survived day one, Isla. Try not to get in the way tomorrow." She nodded again and smiled slightly. Tomorrow would be very different. The next morning, the kitchen buzzed before the sun had fully risen. Isla arrived before anyone else. She set her knives on the steel table with deliberate care, then began prepping vegetables with the same silent precision as the day before. One by one, the team filtered in. A few nodded at her. Some avoided eye contact. Magnus strolled in last, sipping an espresso. "Early bird," he said flatly, eyeing her station. "Trying to impress someone?" She kept her eyes on her board. "Just doing the job." He snorted and moved on. Throughout the day, Isla noticed the small things. The sauces were over-reduced. The meat was slightly overseared. The communication was broken, frantic, filled with panic instead of rhythm. The team worked hard, but not together. And always, Magnus barked orders louder than necessary, masking every mistake with arrogance. Later, when a sauce split just before plating, Magnus exploded at the youngest line cook. "Do you even know what emulsify means?" Isla stepped in quietly. "Use cold butter. Off the heat. Whisk fast." The sauce pulled together, smooth and glossy. Magnus scowled, but said nothing. After service, whispers started. "Where did she train?" "That knife work, did you see it?" She corrected Magnus. And he let her. But Isla remained quiet, cleaning her station as if she hadn't heard a thing. By midweek, Stockholm was gripped in a cold snap. Winds howled through alleyways, and customers came into Nordköket wrapped in scarves and hunger. Inside, the kitchen was under pressure. A food critic had booked for Saturday. Everyone felt the heat, except Isla. She moved like she'd done it 1,000 times. Her mise en place was always perfect. Her sauces always balanced. Her plating almost artistic. It began to rattle Magnus. He watched her, looking for flaws.
Something.
Anything. During lunch service, he finally snapped. Where did you learn to dice like that? You don't get cuts like those from culinary school. Isla turned to him, calm.
Paris.
Lion. Then 2 years in Oslo. He raised an eyebrow. Conveniently vague. I've worked in Oslo. Never heard your name. She offered a small smile. I'm not here to be remembered. But someone was remembering. A young pastry chef whispered to a colleague later that evening, I swear I've seen her in a Nordic culinary magazine last year. She was with that Michelin group. The seed of doubt was planted. Magnus heard it.
And he didn't like it.
Friday morning brought tension. The dining room would host a private booking from the Royal College of Gastronomy. Magnus called a meeting before prep. We're not experimenting today, he barked. We play safe. Nordic classics. Minimalism. No showing off. His eyes flicked toward Isla. Lunch began. The tickets came in fast. Then one order was sent back. The smoked venison was bland. Magnus cursed under his breath and retook control of the grill. But the next plate came back too. Isla stepped up. Calmly, she took over the plating. She used juniper salt, a beetroot glaze, a subtle bitterness of lingonberry reduction. The plate went out. It didn't come back. The table sent compliments. Magnus slammed his palm on the pass. We don't change the recipe mid-service. Isla met his glare. We don't serve bland food either. It was the first time her voice rose above the usual hush. Magnus turned away without a word. But the kitchen had already seen it. Respect was shifting. That night, Erik Lind, the owner of Nordkoket, arrived unannounced. He walked through the kitchen with a practiced eye, greeted the staff, smiled warmly. Then he turned to Isla. Still keeping quiet? She only nodded.
Good, he said.
Let the food speak. Magnus approached with false charm. Didn't know you were stopping by, Erik. I like surprises. He looked around. Place looked sharp.
Cleaner.
More efficient. He let that hang in the air. Then he patted Isla on the shoulder. I trust you're preparing for tomorrow? Magnus froze. Preparing what for? The announcement, Erik replied lightly. You'll see. He walked out, leaving silence behind. The room pulsed with tension. Magnus turned to Isla. His expression was unreadable, but he knew something was coming. And so did she. Saturday morning was a storm of activity. Every station prepped with military precision. The dining room had been booked for weeks. Food bloggers, journalists, gastronomy students, and one very particular critic. Magnus walked in unusually early. He said little, watched a lot. He hovered near Isla's station. Just so you know, he said under his breath, whatever game you're playing, it ends tonight. She glanced at him. I'm not playing. The door swung open. Erik Lind entered with a clipboard and a reserved expression. All hands in, he announced. We'll have a short meeting at 5 before doors open. Then he looked directly at Isla. You'll want to be ready. The team buzzed with rumors.
No one dared ask.
But something was about to happen. Something that would change everything. Isla continued slicing fennel like nothing had changed. But her eyes were sharper now. Focused. 5 o'clock. The team gathered in the prep area, nervously clutching towels and spoons. Erik stood at the center. He took a deep breath. I won't waste time. You've all worked hard. I appreciate every one of you. He turned slightly. But I've brought someone in to lead this kitchen. Not to change it, but to elevate it. To rebuild its rhythm. He looked at Isla. Everyone followed his gaze. She's been working with you all week. Watching. Listening.
Testing.
Magnus shifted uncomfortably. Erik continued. Meet your new head chef. Isla stepped forward. Silence. Then whispers. Then stunned eyes. Even the young pastry chef gasped. Magnus stood stiff. This is ridiculous, he muttered. She's been here 5 days. Erik replied without missing a beat. And you've been here 6 months. And yet no one's ever called back a dish she's touched. The message was clear. Magnus stormed out. No one stopped him. With a storm of shock behind them, The dinner service began under Isla's lead. She called out orders with precision. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was clear. Steady.
Calm.
2 cod, 1 elk. Fire in 4. Sauce ready in 6. Pastry, hold on pair until call. The team followed her like breath follows a heartbeat. Magnus' absence wasn't even felt. Midway through service, the critics' table sent a note to the pass. It read only, "Whoever led this dish, tell them it was orchestral." Isla didn't react. She just nodded and called the next order. The kitchen moved as one now. No panic. No yelling. Just rhythm. Like it was always meant to be. Later that night, as the last guests filtered out into the Stockholm chill, Isla stood alone in the kitchen. The hum of the fridges. The soft drip of a faucet. The silence after the storm. She pulled out her phone. Opened an old photo. Her and her mentor. A chef who'd taught her the value of restraint. Of letting others talk first. He had always said, "Don't enter a kitchen like a storm. Enter like a tide. Quiet. Unstoppable." She smiled. Then deleted the photo. Some memories were meant to drift away. Behind her, the young pastry chef stepped in. "Chef, can I ask you something?" Isla turned gently. "Of course. Will you teach us? The way you work. I've never seen that before." She nodded. "Tomorrow. First prep. Bring your sharpest knife." Weeks passed. Nordkoket's reservation list doubled. The critics' review hit national headlines. They called the restaurant reborn under quiet command. Isla never raised her voice. But everything changed. Magnus' name faded from conversation. Now new names rose. The pastry chef, finally trusted with their own dessert line. The line cook now mentoring trainees. Isla stood not above them, but with them. Eric walked into the kitchen one evening and smiled. "You've done it." She looked up. "We've done it." The kitchen sang again. And this time, everyone was heard.